appreciate y'all coming out today on this beautiful day. I just wanted to let you know how several of the members of the legislature feel about this stimulus. We think there are some provisions in there that we have some real problems with. One that we passed out to the crowd and that we do have for the media, basically something that Senator DeMint had pointed out, and that's the fact that if you use any of the higher ed money that goes to buildings and you use that for sectarian instruction or religious worship, that'll be in violation, and I think that's a real assault on our religious liberties, and I think it goes against the Constitution. And we even have further constitutional questions if the legislature even has the power to take this money, because the governor is supposed to accept the stimulus package, and the fact that he has not, I'm not so sure the government can even be, or the legislature can even be allowed to accept it. So I wanted to come up here. I'd read some articles and had some people talk with me about how everybody's against the governor on this thing. So I wanted to bring some folks up here to Spartanburg to let you know that that's not the case. And they'll be leading on Shane Martin. I'll come again, then we'll have Senator Bryant.
Thank you, Senator. I'm just glad to be here today too. We've got a lot of troubling times in our nation right now, especially our state. You know, our budgets are down. The House just passed a huge budget, and we found out from the Board of Economic Advisors the day later that there was another $60-something million cut out of that budget before the Senate Finance even gets a chance to get it. The big problem I have with the stimulus funds, whether you like them or not, I have a problem with budgeting our own state budget with anticipation of those dollars. I think we need to set up a fiscally responsible budget without the use of those stimulus dollars, and if they do come, which they probably will, we may not be able to fight it. If they do come, then use them, but let's don't budget and keep recurring debts because of those stimulus funds. Let's get a balanced budget the way it is and use the stimulus funds later or however they're going to come, but I don't think we need to budget that and let that be a part of our budget. Thank you. Senator Bryant.
Hello, y'all may not know me. I'm Kevin Bryant, and I represent Anderson County in the South Carolina Senate, and I appreciate the leadership of Senator Bryant and others for having this press conference. One thing that folks don't realize is South Carolina has a $20 billion price tag on unfunded liabilities. $20 billion. And the governor approached the White House on 2 separate occasions, and he was all but told, we cannot take any stimulus money and do something responsible with it, like pay off some of these liabilities. The state budget is more than 10% has to go to paying off these unfunded liabilities. Across the nation, we are one of the highest that has this amount of debt. And I would support the governor, and if we do, and that's a big if we do accept some of the $700 million that's in question, state spending should be reduced to the amount where we can pay off an equal or more than that in unfunded liabilities. That's where I'm coming from. There's several other reasons to draw a line in the sand, and we do appreciate the leadership Representative Millwood showed in the House by voting no until we have some of these questions answered. And I'll turn the podium over to Representative Millwood.
Hope everybody's doing all right today. I'm just here today supporting these senators and their calls to fight this stimulus package because, like I said, there are too many unanswered questions. I've asked questions and there just aren't enough answers. And like he said, there were 8 of us out of, I think there were 122 of us there that day. There were 8 of us that voted against it. And it's just something that I felt principled to do because this goes against everything that I believe as a conservative and everything that I'll continue to believe as a conservative. And I just think I think the governor's on the right track. I support our governor 100% in this mission, and I feel like that's the right track to be on. And I hope these guys who will be taking up, working on their budget soon will continue this fight and build on what 8 of us did in the House. And thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, representatives and senators. I really do appreciate the opportunity to be here. These are frightening times for America. These are frightening times for all of us individually, but when we look at the financial situation that exists in America right now and what is happening in Washington, it is even more of a scary situation because of the out of control nature that we have seen Washington display in trying to deal with a problem that it created. We're here because we're trying to simply say South Carolina does not have to take this money. It will not
impact our budget in such a way that it will hurt the state. In fact, we believe there's already money coming that is not by way of the governor, by way of the legislature. $2.5 billion is being received already by direct payment from the spending bill, the so-called stimulus bill, that is arriving at various agencies, various governments across the state. $2.5 billion. The issue is over $700 million, and here's the problem with the $700 million. The $700 million strings are that we must keep our spending for all those projects that it relates to at the 2006 spending levels. Ladies and gentlemen, it was fiscally irresponsible for us then to accept that money if we have to keep spending levels at the 2006 level, when in another year we may be forced to roll back our budgetary numbers, as we have seen we have had to do, and just recently we had to roll back some more. So the government, the federal government, is mandating to us that we have to keep the spending levels at the 2006 levels. Those are the strings that are coming with the $700 million. There's already $2.5 billion that's coming no matter what we do or don't do. Therefore, we're saying rather than being controlled like puppets from Washington, D.C., we should instead roll up our sleeves, and I'd like all these gentlemen to take their coats off. Roll up our sleeves. Come on, take your coats off. I want sleeves rolled up, because that's in essence what we are saying. What we're saying is we're going to roll up our sleeves and in a budgetary way get down to brass tacks and do what has to be done to get budgets under control. We're willing to roll our sleeves up. We'd ask DC to do the same thing, get their budget under control from a problem that they created. It's time to roll up all our sleeves jointly and say no to the out-of-control spending in Washington. We will not in South Carolina. We are saying be controlled by strings like puppets from Washington, D.C. So that's what we're here to say to you today. We're ready to turn around on this thing. Our governor is on the right track on this, and we're standing here with him and those conservatives in South Carolina that would say no and would expect us to roll our sleeves up and get to work and do the job we're elected to do. Thank you very much.
I neglected to mention something earlier, and Representative Bedingfield, Hamilton, and Stringer intended to be here today, and they could not, but they are with us, and Senator Burden from Lawrence. But I just want to tell you just a brief little bit about a debate we had just 2 weeks ago on the Senate floor. The folks that were wanting the stimulus package were talking about how this was going to affect individuals and people, and how we were fighting for ideals, and the governor was fighting for ideals, and ideals didn't feed people. And our argument was then, and it will be for the next coming weeks, is freedom is an ideal. Our way of life that we have now is because of ideals. And we're going to stand firm, because this money that's being spent in Washington, I think that was said so well by Senator Thomas, you know, we had a New Deal back in the 40s, but I feel like this package is a raw deal. And I appreciate y'all coming out today. Thank you.